In this video, I'm gonna show you how to pay less for clicks on Google Ads than what the market value is. And the reason why you wanna pay attention to this video is because if you're running a Google Ads account, or whoever's running your Google Ads account, a lot of times with Google focusing more on automated bid strategy and AI, they tend to automatically pay higher per clicks than what the market value typically is, right? And obviously that's just Google trying to take more control and try to make more profit and more revenue on their end. But as a marketer and as a brand, it's important that you continue to optimize your account, your campaigns to pay less than what people are actually paying for market value, right? And if you're paying less per clicks, obviously you're saving costs, right? And without obviously limiting volume of conversions, you're saving costs, and essentially that's cost that can be reallocated to other things, to other campaigns, right? And so that's exactly what I'm gonna show you in this video. My name is Frank Kenny. I'm the head of growth here at Lion Media. We're a performance marketing agency that helps e-commerce brand grow, scale to the moon, right? Without further ado, let's jump straight into this video, right? So, and when I talk about cost per click, so the cost per click, typically when you're looking at brand campaign, right, and you do not need to pay a lot for branded campaigns, right? Let me say that again. This is your brand, your brand, right? And the only reason why you have a brand campaign is to protect, against competitors that are going to be bidding on your own keywords. So it's essentially playing defense. But a lot of times when you're using an automated bid strategy, Google will essentially pay more than needs to be paid from a cost per click perspective on brand campaigns, right? So when we look at this specific account, I'm gonna hide the account just to kind of protect the privacy of the account. When we look at this specific account, when we look at what the average cost per click is for this brand campaign, it's 81 cents, which is not bad, right? And another thing that I also look at is the impression share, right? Impression share is 82, right? And this is a pretty big brand and they have a lot of competitors bidding for them. And an 82 cents cost per click at an 82% impression share, that's good for me, right? Now, how do we pay even less cost? How do we pay even less per cost per click? And so we can save more dollars, right? And so the way to do that is instead of using an automated bid strategy, because with this one we're using a target return on ad spend of 550%, right? And so essentially that's what determines what the cost per click is with the automated bidding strategy. The higher the target ROAS is, the lower the cost per click is going to be, right? But there is some point to where no matter how high you set the target ROAS, it's not going to affect or change the cost per click, and that's essentially kind of where we're at right now. Now we still want to pay less for what the average cost per click is, and so how we do that is using manual bidding strategy. A manual bidding strategy is essentially you taking back control from the Google and AI, and you set exactly what you want to pay per cost per click. The only thing that the only drawback with that is that you might lose a little bit of impression share, right? But one, you're going to be saving cost, right? And without limiting volume, you're going to be saving costs and obviously more return on ad spend or higher efficiency, right? The lower you pay for clicks, the higher the efficiency, the lower the cost. And so what I want to do now, so I essentially duplicated our brand campaign, right? And we can run it as an experiment. So I want to look just at the campaign name is, let's do this, filter campaign name, campaign name is brand. So I want to look at all my branded campaigns. Okay, cool. And so this is that same brand campaign that I duplicated earlier. And so what I want to do, so I'm going to click on that, right? And then click on that, and then I'm going to look at the campaign settings, and I'm going to change the bidding strategy. The current bidding strategy is using it, maximize conversion value using the target ROAS, right? Now I go here, I deselect this, change the bid strategy, right? And so here's the option. Read carefully what the option says. Or instead of using this, or select the bid strategy, not recommended, right? Obviously Google doesn't want you to use this, right? It says not recommended, but I recommend it. So we're gonna change that, right? Let's remove this, put option, what we want to do, use bid strategy, not recommended. Now you're presented with the option of a manual bid strategy, right? Manual bid strategy. It has auto on the bottom over here. It's like the last thing, right? That's what I want. Now, again, what this allows me to do is now set what I want to pay for a click on brand campaigns. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this on a on a non-branded campaign, because that could be like a lot of work. So if you saw before, I mentioned that the bid was an 81 cents, right? So now the default is at 50 cents, right? I like this. I'm gonna keep a 50 cent cost, 50 cent cost per click. That's how much I want to bid for those keywords, right? Instead of 81 cents, now I'm only going to be paying 50 cents. Now we can set this lower, obviously. So we can set it to like 40 cents if you want, and then click save on that. Now that's essentially now gonna be, as the campaign runs, you're gonna be, and the important thing is that you want to be tracking this on a daily basis to kind of see what that cost per click is. In some cases, you may even want to reduce it lower, or if you're losing too much impression share, then you may want to increase it just a little bit to make sure that you're not losing too much impression share. Impression share is essentially the number of click that is available for your brand and how much of it are you occupying in the auction, right? So again, this is very important. This is very important from the impression share perspective. If you see that you're losing too much impression share, like you're like in the 7% impression share, then it's important that you go back and raise the bid. Because if you're losing that much, and if you're losing that much in impression share, that means like, okay, cool. It looks like your competitors are overbidding for your key terms, and then you're losing some of those impression share, right? So you need to go back and increase the bid just a little bit and slightly, and you track that on a daily basis, right? And guys, essentially, as you track this over time, and when you look on a week over week or a day over day, you'll notice that your average cost per click has decreased, right? And you also see that without even changing the cost or the spend, your cost is also going to decrease, right? Because if you're paying less for clicks, then you're not, if you're paying less for clicks, then your budget is overall going to decrease without limiting conversions, right? And guys, that is how you take back control, specifically on branded campaigns, because again, you shouldn't have to pay too much on brand, right? Because if with the cost that you're saving on brand, you can reallocate it to acquisition campaigns, right? On PMAX acquisition or any like non-brand search campaigns that you're running, right? And again, it's crucial because now with our clients, we're saving them so much more money, right? And imagine if you're paying, some brands that's spend 20 or 50K on brand campaign, depending on the size of your brand. Imagine just being able to cut that in half, right? If you're initially paying 50K on brand, imagine cutting that in half to 25 or even less than that, right? That's another $25,000 that you can spend on acquisition to get more customers, right? Again, so I think this is very important, and for brand to be able to understand and know what is happening from Google trying to essentially take more control with using the automated bidder strategy and how to counter that. And that's exactly what this is. Guys, if this video was helpful, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.